Ooh, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy, Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. So, the Dolphins are continuing their pre draft visits. We have Mason Taylor coming in. Now, some of you are like, that name sounds familiar, and it should because he is the son of Dolphins legend, Hall of Famer Jason Taylor. Now, Mason Taylor played at LSU, and as you all know, LSU is wide receiver U for like the last 10 years, right? So his stats aren't gaudy. He had a little bit over 100 catches, only 6 touchdowns in 3 years. But considering he played with Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors over the last couple of years, two of the two clearly the best two rookie receivers, but arguably top 7, 8 receivers in the league already. There weren't a lot of targets to go around, right? But he was a very good possession receiver, not super explosive like, down the field. He's not incredibly fast, but big frame, 6'5", 250, good hands, and it's in the bloodline. Right? When your dad's a legend and he went to St. Thomas Aquinas, you're from here, right? I don't know why he didn't go to UM. That's I know maybe a different question, but he's he will be a draft luxury for us at this point. I think we feel pretty good about a starting tight end position and having Farrell Brown as the backup blocking tight end. We could use a second receiving tight end. So it is a need, but it's on the lower end. I would think there's 5 positions of need above that one. But if we have maybe a fourth round grade on him and he's still available at the time, why not? I'm all about the bloodline. I'm all about the sales behind it. I think he would be very good on a team. I don't think we need to have him. So this would be barring something going crazy, right? I don't believe he's going to be on the board in the fourth round. I think he'll be gone before then. And I don't think taking him in the first 2 rounds is a reasonable position when you have offensive line, secondary, and defensive line issues. I don't get it. But why not bring him in? I'm sure, you know, if he's there with Jason and he can like kind of feel the lore of the team, I'm sure it'll be a great father-son moment, a good family moment, maybe even a good photo op. I don't foresee this happening. Again, barring him falling. And as of now, he's shown himself pretty well. He doesn't have an injury history. People see the upside behind it. I don't see him coming to the Dolphins, but hey, if it can happen, I'm here for it. Now, again, we've done a lot of dives about the first round pick, even the second round pick, because we know what that's about. Late round picks are really where things kind of come together, right? Once you get past the fifth round, you start drafting people who you think might have upside. So last year we drafted Malik Washington in the sixth round and thought he could maybe possibly be a kick returner, maybe a slot kind of guy. And by the end of the year, we cut Odell. People forgot Odell was even on the team last year. We cut Odell Beckham and said, hey, that guy's taking the job. Right now, our passing game wasn't tremendous most of the year because Tua was out. So his stats weren't gaudy, but I think we saw enough from Malik to think that that may have been a pick worthwhile. At the very least, he's a rotational receiver piece. And so the goal is for a late round pick, sixth, seventh round, is that you draft someone who could be a rotational piece, who has some upside, who hopefully makes the team, right? A lot of sixth, seventh round players don't even make the team. I know that kind of goes unreported. But if we're going to draft someone sixth round or later, we're looking for boom and bust kind of players, right? And I think James Marshall Jr., I was going to say the second, James Marshall Jr. Could be a potential for that. Y'all know I'm a Gator fan, born and raised in Gainesville. But he has the physicality to probably be a higher pick. We'll get into why he's dropping now, but he's 6 foot tall, buck 95, runs a 4.4, good vert, good broad jump. Like the athleticism is there. Pretty good in press man coverage. Wasn't targeted a whole bunch this year, which tells me that either our for Florida, either Florida's second corner wasn't great, or James was just really solid and teams didn't want to challenge him. Now, that was my position initially until we dug into the numbers and saw that when he was targeted, the completion percentage was really high. It was like 45%. So he wasn't thrown at a lot, but when he did throw at him, they got the completions, right? So is really good in press coverage, and he's good in spurts. The biggest knock on him at the moment is that his head's not always in the game. Like he's not locked in. There'll be times you see this more like in basketball than football, where a player will just drift on defense and his opponent will be wide open. It's like, where happened? It's like, oh, I thought he was standing next to me. You just kind of lose your way. In football, that's typically you biting on things that aren't your coverage. So let's talk about cornerbacks. If you're in man-to-man coverage, Your job isn't to, oh, what's that in the flat? And you're peeking in the backfield. Stay with your man. You're in man-to-man coverage. If you're in zone, right, we go high to low. So don't let anything get past you. Come up and rally, right? So if you're biting on shorter routes and giving up passes over the top, you're not doing your job properly. And some of that is concentration. Um, there's some scouts are saying like they don't know if he just has like the intangibles to be like a consistently good player. I think that may be a bit much. I don't know how to feel about that. I think it may just be a situation where he may need some tough coaching. Because sometimes when you're a talented player and you have all the skills and you can't quite put it together, that means you haven't had the right coach or like architect to like construct it properly, right? That's why people love potential. Oh, if you can just harness all this, then you can get the most out of them. We saw this when Lamar Jackson got drafted. People were like, well, he can throw the ball 65, 70 yards and he can run a 4.3, but they don't always work together. And it's like, but if you could, you get MVP. And if you don't, you get like a Malik Willis type where he's maybe a spotty backup. He might show you moments, but you got to put it all together. Josh Allen was a perfect prospect, right? In terms of competition was very low. He played at Wyoming. His completion percentage was terrible in college, like barely 50%. And they were like, yeah, but he's 6'5", almost 6'6", 230. He can run, he can throw. If you can harness it, you got something. And guess what you got? An MVP. So James Marshall is a guy that if you can get all of those intangibles together, I see a Darius Slade type player. Now, Darius Slade was much better in college and much more consistent. But if you can harness the ability, he's good in press, he's a fighter, he's actually a really good tackler, he's a good blitzer. If you can harness all those things and just keep him locked in, then I think you could very easily have a rotational corner and on the highest end, a bubble starter. I think that's what his potential is. Worst case, special teams guy, corner 5 or 6. He's in a rotation, but he's not really, he's not really getting in burn. But I think for a late round draft pick, there's a lot of boom bust potential there. And we'll see if he's on the board around that time. He could go undrafted, which means he can pick his own team. And obviously, he plays for Florida now, so you would think Jacksonville, Tampa, or Miami as options. Hopefully, we can just draft him and not have to deal with that. I think Tampa might be desirable. We'll see. And finally, we're talking about the offensive line again, because why not? So, Teron Armstead, we mentioned a day ago, is retiring. Tears. And before he left, he decided to give his feelings on Patrick Paul, because I'm sure, like a lot of you guys, it's been very difficult for me to find a lot of team like joy around a Patrick Paul situation. We drafted him last year, and he kind of was like a man without an island. It was like, oh, we'll get him in the future. And then this year, all the mock drafts in the first round were like, you need to get a tackle. And it was like, well, what we do last year. So I haven't heard the coach and like really the offensive staff in general like really big him up. I don't know if that's because he's not a great practice player. I don't know if it's just like they don't want to give him too much love until he earns it. Don't know the dynamics of the team. I'm not in the locker room. But Teron Armstead was, and he decided to give his opinion on what Patrick Paul brings to the table, right? So he said, he's the guy. It's his time. He knows it. He'll be ready. He's a worker. He's talented. You put those two together, you'll have success. Don't know exactly how his career will play out. Everything plays a part. Patrick Paul will do his part. Everything he can control, he's going to do his part. That is awesome praise. That's the biggest praise I've heard from anybody on the team as of now. Now, this can go one of two ways. This could be Teron Armstead giving his man a nod, like, hey, they don't really know how they feel about you. This is how I feel about you. Let me put it out there so maybe I can kind of sway the team to give you a shot to really go out there and get it. And, you do what you can with the opportunity. It could just be him being a W man's holding his boy down. It could also be this is what he's seen in practice. Like, hey, I know the position. We both play the same position. He's right with me in practice. I see what he's doing. Y'all don't see the work he's putting in because he's not on the field playing that position. You guys have seen him on other parts of the line. I see a dude that can be a version of me. He can be very solid for the team. Let the world know, because we don't ever, other than like Hard Knocks and stuff like that and whatever film the team puts out, you don't see all the work that these guys put in. And so Teron is someone who's played a position for 12 years, gave his body, sweat, and tears to the craft. This is him possibly being like, I see the work he's putting in, and maybe he's not getting the feedback and the love from the people yet. Let me be the one to give it to him, and hopefully more people come out and say, yes, I see the same thing. Regardless, I think Patrick should get the chance to start next year. I've already said it. I don't think we should draft a tackle in the first round because we drafted a tackle in the second round last year. So I would like to see him play. If what Teron said is true, then give him a shot and put him on the field. And if he's not good, we try to get another tackle next year. But I think he's earned the right, based on what Armstead is saying, to at least try to be the man. Give me a chance to be the man. I'm putting the work in. The outgoing captain is telling you I'm doing it. I'm the man. I got the talent and the work ethic. You put those two together, that seems like a winning recipe. So I would love to see them give him a chance. I do not want to see us draft a tackle in the first round if that's the case. Maybe later rounds, if someone drops to us, we'll figure it out. But this is the first really positive thing I've heard, and I'd love to hear it. And hopefully, he's not blowing smoke up us, and he really is about that action. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank y'all for the likes, follows, subscribes, all that good stuff. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.